Hey guys, so today I wanted to film kind of another look using a palette, so let's get into it. I have blue left over because I was just filming a blue look, but we're gonna try to get like an everyday wearable, or like what I'm planning to wear today, look up. So first thing I'm gonna do is do my eyes. I'm taking my Painterly eyeshadow paint pot from MAC, just running that over my eyes. It provides a good base for your eyeshadow. And I've used Sigma before, so it doesn't have to be like the most expensive base. There are other alternatives out there, and if you want one, just leave a comment and I'll help you out. Then I'm just gonna blend the edges in. Making sure they're nice and smooth. Let's see if I can zoom you guys in with this. So just blending those edges. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to do my crease. I'm trying to figure out what crease color I want. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with, this is the Huda Beauty Nude Light palette. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bottom middle color that's like a tan brown. So it's like a peachy, like tan. So it's got like peaches, like a nude sort of neutral color. So like peach and a little bit of brown mixed in. Do that in my crease. And the brush that I'm using is a MAC, I believe it's a 224. I'll pause in a second and look at it, but you could use like any little crease brush that's kind of fluffy. This is actually not, like, I use it, it's a 224. I actually use this brush just because I have it. It's not the most comfortable thing, it's a bit scratchy. We're gonna go in on the other side, do that. Windshield wiper motions. Lay down a pretty thick coat of that. Then once I have that down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the new Natasha Denona Love Palette. Yeah, that's what it's called. Right here. I'm gonna take this color Valentine, which is the paler pink right here. It's coming off as like a nude color, but it's actually got like a pale pink tone to it. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna run that through the lid. There's quite a bit of kick up palette. And I don't know if you can see, if it's not making much of a difference on my lid or on my crease, but it is adding just a hint of color. Just moving that around as a base. Now that I have that done, I'm going to put down my lid shade. And I think what I'm going to do for my lid is that I'm going to go into, in the Huda Beauty palette, there is this pale pink on the edge here. I'm going to pick that color, and that's going to be my lid color. Actually, I think I want something like pinkier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna take that. I'm gonna take the one on the bottom corner that's like actually pink and put that on my lid. And once I have that down, make sure I have like a nice even coat. Go back in with a brush and blend the edges. Once that is all done, I'm going to go over the edges. And so for the edge, what I want to do is I want to take like a really dark purple, I think. So, purple maybe, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in on the Love Palette. In the center there you can see the shade Heartbeat, so this one right here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that in the corner of my eye. And it's actually a red shade, like a red brown. Sorry guys, I have allergies, so that's the reason my nose is like all sniffly. And then I want it to be a bit darker, so I think I'm going to take that, but I'm also going to take Trust, which is like a purple in the palette, and put that over top of it as well. So we've got Heart and we've got Trust to give it like a purpley red color. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this BH Cosmetics brush that I have and I'm going to blend out the front part. I actually really like BH Cosmetics brushes. They're very affordable and they're kind of like my go-to brush brand whenever I'm shopping for brushes. So, because I feel like they have good quality for like a really affordable price. So if you're in the market for brushes, that is kind of what I would recommend, and I'm not sponsored or anything, so I just enjoy them. And then I'm gonna take a clean brush and kind of blend this crease part right here. So that's what it looks like blended. Kind of look like I got punched in the face a little bit just because this is like such a hot mess right now. I'm gonna go back in with the pink that we put in and just tap a little bit more on the front there. So I feel like we kind of lost it in the blend. Blend out that edge. then the next thing that I'm going to do now that the top of the eyes are kind of done is I'm going to zoom you guys out a little bit. We're going to start on my face. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to skip over foundation because I feel like right now my skin is looking pretty good. I don't want to like cake a bunch of foundation on it. So I'm going to take this Kylie Cosmetics concealer in the shade Almond and kind of put it where I have some discoloration, some spots like right around here on my chin. And then I'm going to take my Real Techniques sponge, blend that out. So that it almost gives me like a nice like base that sort of covers my natural skin and any like discolorations and things, but it's also very, very light and not too much. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. The next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my Benefit Brightening Concealer. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on I think I got this in an Ipsy brush. It's a Beau Gachet, is I believe how you pronounce it, brush. And it's a concealer brush, so I just like to use that for anytime I need to use like a cream concealer product on a brush. So I'm kind of dabbing it along those like indented lines in my face to try to cover those up and correct the darkness. And then once we've corrected that darkness, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with my Kylie Cosmetics Almond Concealer. That way we've corrected, but then we've also adjusted for that kind of orangey tone underneath. And then we're just going to blend that out. I'm not super worried about the blue that's left over from the last look, because what I'm going to do is, now that everything has blended out, we're going to go back and we're going to take some Ben Nye Banana Brightening Powder. And I'm actually going to set that concealer. So I take about this much on my hand. And what I'm going to do with that is I'll take my brush, I'm going to set the under eye so it doesn't crease on both sides. So the amount that was on my hand, I like to divide it in about half and use half for each eye. And then once I'm happy with the eyes, whatever is kind of left on my hand, I will swirl my brush in like this, and that just kind of ends up all over the rest of my face. Now that we have done that, the next thing I'm going to do is take the brush we were using before, which is my dual-sided Anastasia brush from like their palette. It was free. Came in like a, you know, like a Norvina palette or like a Modern Renaissance, one of those. And then I'm just taking Heartbeat and Trust, just mixing those two on the brush and going underneath my eye. So it's covering up all of that blue-black mess from like the lash shadow that didn't necessarily get completely wiped away. You won't be able to tell that it's there once this is on because it's so dark. And then I like to take something kind of clean, buff in those edges at the top. Maybe take a little bit more of that red because it looks like this is like really purple and this is kind of like pinky red. So I'm just going to take that red, run it under the eyes. I think that's helping it match the like upper half of the little bit more. And then now that everything is done on the eyes, we're going to switch over and do my brows. So again, we're gonna take my Remy brow bar that I got in, I think either an Ipsy or a what's it called, Birchbox, and I'm gonna use that. Taking the darkest shade on there and using that to fill in the edges of my brows. So here, clean up some of the mess in front of me so I have some room. So I'm going to take the color and kind of put it on the tail of my brow and kind of fill it in. Then I'm going to go on the other side. Fill that in. And then, because I want to make it a little bit more full, then what I like to do is I'm going to take my Anastasia Brow Wiz and I'm going to fill in the front portion of my brows. So if you want to see what that looks like, I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace the bottom part of my brows, fill that in, and then bring it back up where there should be more hair, but there's not. Then we have a full brow. Same thing on the other side, just go out and draw that line where my brows are actually like naturally there, but they're so sparse that you can't see them from far away or like on camera. Then I'm just going to go up fill everything in. Those are my filled in brows. I'm gonna zoom you guys back out a little bit, and you can see that's what the brows look like. So we have our eyes, we have our brows, we have our foundation. The next thing I want to do is contour a little bit. So we're gonna go in with my L'Oreal Bronze Please and contour our face. So it's not gonna be anything like super dramatic when you look at my face. The shade is actually not that big of a contrast when compared to the Kylie Jenner almond concealer that I used. So go down over here, and we're gonna put a little bit right here, and on the edge over here. Then going to run a little bit down my nose. After I've done that, I'm taking just a tiny bit underneath my nose right here as well. And we are contoured. Then I'm going to go in with a bit of highlighter. My current favorite highlighter right now is actually from the Dior Universal Glow palette. There's this bronze one down here, the deep one. So that's kind of the one that I've been using recently. So I'm just going to load up my brush. Apply that everywhere. It's very subtle, as you can see. Like if I barely move my face kind of like that, you can kind of see where the light hits it right here. It's a bit difficult to see the contrast of the highlighter. Like you can see it more if like you meet me in person. It's harder to tell here just because the Kylie foundation, like of the concealer that I use, not the foundation, sorry, it's kind of adds a little bit of a glow to your skin, so it's not completely like matte, and over the top of that the Dior looks very natural, so I just look like I have like a very healthy glow going on right now. The next thing that I'm going to do is add some of it to underneath my brow. And then take a little bit on my finger, run it up and down my nose to give it a bit of a highlight. And there, I think on camera you can see that one quite a bit better because it's not like at an angle and you could just see the difference as I kind of like rub it up and down my nose. So now that we are sort of subtly highlighted everywhere, the next thing we want to do is add mascara, and I've already got a little bit of a lip tint going on from like my previous video. It's the Patrick Ta She's Independent color. It's actually one of my favorites. It's quite a nice nude on me, so it's looking a little bit too nude with the Kylie because the Kylie is just like a little bit darker than my skin tone for the concealer, but this is actually my perfect color. So the last thing we're gonna do is pop on some mascara and we are finished. My favorite mascara right now, just because it's kind of convenient and I've kind of have it on hand, is the Snapscara by Maybelline. And this one is in Black Cherry. Right now I have 3 favorite mascaras. So there's the Hank and Henry Clout, which I like, and then L'Oreal Lash Paradise is the other one that I'm in love with. So I'm just kind of like running that around my eyes. And then down here. Adding some mascara as well. And there you go. So this is the final look. I hope you guys like it. I'll zoom you in so you can see the eyes. Sneeze. And then, yeah. I'll zoom you guys out a little bit more so you can kind of see like what my face looks like. So the entire thing. And those are the eyes. And that's everything for today's tutorial, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!